We come to this place for magic, to laugh,
To cry.
To care.
but most importantly to argue about movies. We are
The Box Office Buds.
And on today's show, a great week of shows for the Box Office Buds, but today's show is all about the Four, the Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, we did it better last time.
The movie we all saw this weekend, opening weekend. We will have a full review of that movie. It will be spoiler-filled, but we'll get to that in a second. Another thing we're going to review is Happy Gilmore 2, because two of us saw that movie as well. It's a fun weekend for the movie-going crew.
Yeah.
I'll say I had a blast. I also saw Oh Hi in theaters as well, which was a fun little indie comedy. Molly Gordon, Logan Lerman. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a fun weekend at the movies for sure. Fantastic Four, though. Whoo, Nelly Kellerman, you're
good.
literally just coming back from the theater.
I just got back. I really wanted to see it early in the weekend because there are also other movies I want to see in the theater right now. And I just, there was a Comic-Con, there was a Warped Tour. I just barely eked in Fantastic Four before recording this. And boy, am I glad I did, because it was fantastic.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to say about Fantastic Four, but it was a big weekend for you. It was a big weekend for you, but it was also a big weekend for Fantastic Four and Marvel itself. 118 million domestically, under the total from last week. So that means this man over here is the only one, Alex Alche, to get a victory
Boom, I'm
in
back.
that prediction.
I don't like that.
Also, but 218 worldwide, pretty much the same of what Superman did its opening weekend worldwide, vaunting Kellerman back into third place.
Yeah.
And
just 200 million away from first.
I'm in trouble. If you follow us on Instagram, we post the standings. You can see the standings next to me right now if you're watching on YouTube. We play in a fantasy box office league. The three of us and our friends have drafted 5 movies coming out this calendar year. Whoever makes the most money at the worldwide box office wins the league. Yours truly, thanks to Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, is in first place. It says 1.6 billion on the graphic. I'm happy we don't round up, but if we add another digit, it's
I think it would be
1.68.
1.7, yeah.
1.68 billion. Having said that, this is likely the last week I'm going to be in the lead of that league.
I don't know about that. I think you got another 2 weeks. I don't think that Superman or Fantastic Four are going to continue at the clip that they're going.
No?
Oh, man, I don't agree.
I don't think Fantastic Four is making another $200 million next week. Do you?
It's going to be interesting because, like Superman, the domestic money is much more than the international money, and normally it's a 50-50 split. If you see Jurassic World right now still making oodles of money, it's at 718 worldwide. That's making 40 domestically, 60% international. So it really depends on what the movies do. However, I think both Superman, which is still making money. Superman's $500 million in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And Fantastic Four. I think these movies, because they are not only big but also good, are going to continue to make money hand over fist.
I agree. I think they will actually have long legs, and
Man, I hope you're right.
and I don't think that there are too many big movies coming out in next week.
Well, there's some big movies if you like movies, but there's no blockbusters coming out.
That's what I mean. There's
real,
no big popcorn
correct.
summer movie coming out next week.
So this could be it. This could be the movies that people go and see. Oh, have you seen Fantastic Four yet? Like a month later, and it's still making money.
These are the last few ones that'll stay in there.
Yeah,
and I think Fantastic Four is going to keep IMAX screens a little bit longer than Superman
until
did.
your F1 takes them back.
F1 returns back to IMAX. It's very interesting.
Wait a second, what?
Yeah, they're bringing them back to
For
some
how
IMAX
long?
screens for like a weekend.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good weekend, though.
Fantastic Four away.
Speaking of which, F1, 509.
Yep.
509 worldwide.
Creeping up to way less than all of you thought it would be, except for me.
Here's the thing.
That's
Here's
another
the thing.
movie making great money internationally like we thought it would, but that's another movie that is showing long legs.
Yeah.
That's a thing that could sneak its way to the 600, 700 if it stays out long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fantastic Four, to me, has the best outlook of these superhero movies of the summer because Superman has already given away a VOD date.
Yeah.
August
really?
26th, it's going to be available to rent and
Can't
own.
wait to own it, to be honest.
And own.
So good.
You won't be able to stream it for free, so I do think there will still be some ticket sales, but the convenience of spending $20 at home versus making...
Absolutely.
By August 26th is when they stop making real money, in my opinion.
It's a death knell to the box office.
Yes. So
regardless of
I'm
whether or
hoping
not
for
it's
another
still in
$300
theaters.
million over the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that possible? I don't know.
Yes.
I genuinely think
Absolutely.
it's... Well, for Superman, it's a little bit different. For Fantastic Four, definitely. Superman, that's going to be tough to leg out. You're at 500 already. A lot of people have seen it. But again, as long as it can stay in theaters till August, it's still going to make money.
I
300
think
mil is a lot.
Superman's
What
got
has been
plenty more
interesting,
money to
though,
make.
is the difference between Fantastic Four's international sales and Superman's. Is it a drastic difference? No, but I think it's enough of a difference where Fantastic Four will have the legs. And not for nothing, and I know based on the court of internet opinion, people are very split on what they like more. For me, it wasn't even close.
Really?
I thought Fantastic Four was infinitely better.
Infinitely better, not even close.
Well, let's start there, because if we want to start with a social media take, let's start. Which was better,
Superman
or Fantastic Four?
Hold on, intro us a segment, Tony.
Alche, which was better, Superman or Fantastic Four?
I think it's not even a question. It was Fantastic Four.
Not even a question.
Not even a question. I had a blast at Superman. I enjoyed Superman quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
The stakes and urgency and intensity of Fantastic Four from the moment that thing started till the moment it ended had me at the edge of my seat in an emotional place that Superman just did not have me at. It was pulling at the heartstrings. It was truly the next level of Marvel. I think Thunderbolts started that with some emotional heartstrings and a little more like characterization and a little more like grounded acting, I think, than we've ever seen.
Sure.
And Fantastic Four took that to another level. We saw relationships in this thing that didn't exist in a Marvel movie that I've seen ever. We saw a direction that I thought was fantastic. Matt Shakman, who did WandaVision,
This was great.
absolutely knocked it out of
I
the park.
agree.
Knocked it out of the park.
I do agree.
Galactus could be a total tool of a villain, and he was menacing and scary and really important.
And believable.
And the cast knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I just thought the story as a whole made me go, oh, I'm so excited to see where Marvel goes in general.
Wow.
And I want to watch this movie again.
Kellerman, which one do you think was better, or which one did you enjoy more? It's tough to say, having seen Fantastic Four. You got up 90 minutes ago.
I'm still digesting, I suppose, and I truly loved Fantastic Four, but that's so tough. They're so different.
Yeah,
they're
very
so
different movies.
different. Superman. Here's the thing: what they both accomplished, what I had predicted they would accomplish for the past few years since they've been announced,
Yep.
which is that they were both more like the comic book, more of the spirit and the feeling of the comic books that they're based on than the previous movies have been.
Yep.
And Fantastic Four nailed that to a T with the 60s feel plus the slightly futuristic, like the alternate universe.
I mean, the
60s.
828 feel, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Earth 828. All of that was so... it was like picking up an old Fantastic Four comic book. And Superman gave me the same feeling of picking up just a random Superman comic book. I think the difference is, and it's because I'm a Marvel fanboy, you're going to hate me for this take, but I think that just Marvel knows how to do it a little bit better. And I've heard it described that DC does superheroes who put on regular people masks, and Marvel does regular people who put on superhero masks. And I think that is the difference between these two movies. It's about Superman is so fun and so great, and it's just about an alien trying to be the best human he can be. And Fantastic Four is also so wonderful, but it's about a realistic family trying to be superheroes. And that's the difference. I think that's the difference that you guys are both kind of feeling. And it's hard to say which one is better. I can tell you I cried more in Fantastic Four
Gun
than
to
I
your
did
head,
in Superman.
which is better.
Yeah.
I mean,
James
this
Gunn to
moment,
your head.
James Gunn to my head, I'd have to say Fantastic Four.
Woo!
It touched me more.
I like what you said in the fact that both Superman and Fantastic Four did exactly what they needed to do, and that's a factory reset of both Marvel and DC, respectively.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, to me, I texted it to you guys, and I'm still holding true to it. It's the most emotionally invested I've ever been in a Marvel movie that didn't involve Thanos. Okay, like
Do you have a mother? Do you have siblings?
Yeah,
This movie will hit
exactly.
you whether you're a parent or not.
That's
And if
the
you're a
thing.
parent, it'll hit you in another way.
And it was there are moments that are actually genuinely heartfelt and beautiful of this movie. That's a comic book movie. Things, crazy monsters exist and superpowers. Like, it's fake, folks. It's a movie, but still, they made it so real. It's the same thing Thunderbolts did. Like, they made it so real and grounded, and it was truly terrific. Superman is on the other aspect of that. There's real world problems that Superman faces, but it's very comic book-y. It's very funny and quirky and silly and stupid at points, but that's the
Aware
point
of
of the
itself.
movie.
Aware of itself.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so it's tough to say which one's better because they're two vastly different tenors of the superhero conversation.
That's true.
I gotta say, Superman to me is, I don't know if realistic is a word I want to use, but Superman to me is a more believable movie than the Fantastic Four movie is. I found myself checking out of Fantastic Four a lot more than I was checking out of Superman. So for that, I'm going to say Superman was better for me.
I get that. I totally get it. It depends on what you're in the mood for, really.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you quantify better with these
Yeah,
two?
I truly
in my
enjoyed
opinion, they
both
are
of them.
wildly different.
Yeah.
But equally did what they set out to do.
Yeah.
I think what is a special thing about Marvel's rebirth, if you will, is that they still have the anchor of the Avengers as always being good. The Avengers has never failed. So, spoiler alert, big spoiler alert, Doctor Doom looming at the end, like everyone in that theater,
Yeah, right to the
biggest Marvel
post-credit
fan
sequence,
to
huh?
the smallest Marvel fan was literally like, "Oh baby,
Yeah, of
where's
course,
this going?"
of
Whereas
course.
at the end of Superman, they're just sitting with a dog, and you're like, "I have no idea where DC's going to take this. I'm
Right,
not that
so-
invested in where they go."
Before we go full spoiler, because I do want to say
Well.
Superman,
I just
Fantastic Four, both were very, very good. We can't decide which one was better. It's an argument which one was better.
You tell us.
There's no argument in that both of them were better than Happy Gilmore 2. So before we go full spoiler on Fantastic Four, Alche and I saw Happy Gilmore 2. I'm going to let you say something because I want to go on a slight rant about it after you're done. But what did you think about Happy Gilmore 2? Did it achieve the heights of Happy Gilmore? It did not. But was it better than a regular Adam Sandler movie of the past 20 years?
Better than the Cobbler.
Yeah.
Better than the Cobbler.
Not a high bar.
Probably better than Hubie Halloween.
I heard that one was good.
look-
I didn't see it though.
Here's my very brief, very non-educational, like very non-analytical take on this.
Yeah.
First 20 minutes were fun, but made the dumbest decision I've ever seen in a movie ever. And the rest of it suffered completely because of it. I had fun throughout. I loved I thought Shooter McGavin was literally
Excellent.
throwing 7,000 miles an hour the whole movie. He was out of control. He was truly insane, which
McDonald
was very
is
fun.
fantastic.
The amount of cameos were so unnecessary. Part of the fun of old Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and old Adam Sandler movies is his like usual cast of characters and then some rando actors who pop in and are funny. Travis Kelce being a waiter. Why am I not that waiter? Why is Kellerman not that waiter? Why is Travis Kelce the waiter? It's ridiculous.
I thought he was good.
Was that the decision
He was
that
good.
ruined
He
the
was
movie
good.
for you?
But
I
Travis
thought-
Kelce being a waiter is absurd and takes me completely out of the movie.
I also thought
I
all
wouldn't
of
even
the
recognize him.
all of the golfers in it were really fantastic.
They were.
There is a golfer, Kelman. I want to tell you this.
John
There is
Daly?
a golfer, John Daly.
John Daly's like genuinely Oscar worthy what he does in this movie.
Arguably as good as Shooter McGavin. And every time they have a little huddle and say, make sure you feed John Daly breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, Dad, I got it. It's so great. There is a golfer, a pro golfer. His name is Will Zalatoris. Okay, he's a real golfer, and he's really
Got
good.
it.
He's young, and he when he became the golfer, like, oh my God, Will Zalatoris is coming up through the ranks. People remarked that he kind of looked like the caddy from Happy Gilmore, the one that he shakes, because he's small, skinny, blonde hair, spoofy hair. So this movie so intelligently makes Will Zalatoris the old grown-up
Wow.
version of this caddy. And Will Zalatoris is not an actor. He is an athlete. Okay.
Right.
And we've seen these a million times where an athlete steps in this role and it's like, okay, he did his best, but let's move it along.
Space Jam.
Will Zalatoris was excellent. Like he's cursing out happy under his breath as he walks away. He's getting choked at one point. It's some of the golfers. Fantastic job by you.
I want to finish my thought and then you can take a rant. What I want to say is also I do think this has some of the best Adam Sandler bits in any movie since his classic
he's been
stage.
saving them up. He's been thinking about this.
He nails
for
a lot of the
years.
flashbacks. He nails a lot of the bits that you want him to hit. It feels like a Happy Gilmore movie in so many moments throughout the movie. But there is a good 40 minutes of this movie where it's not continuous. It's in moments throughout. But 40 minutes out of the hour and a half where you're like, huh? And that is the problem with that movie.
So my one little stickler doesn't have to do with Happy Gilmore itself, has to do with people talking online about Happy Gilmore. Because people have loved this movie, people have hated this movie, and that's okay. You're allowed to have those feelings. But the thing that pisses me off is there are a certain sect of people online that are on their high horse about Happy Gilmore, and their specific stance is, if you expected Happy Gilmore 2 to be good, then that's on you, man. Just enjoy it for what it is. Listen, I don't want to say any names, but there's a certain group of people that are all very, very similar that are touting this phrase out there. And we're allowed to not like things about movies. We're allowed to have opinions about movies. We're allowed to, dare I say, expect good things out of these movies, and when it's bad, say, hey, that's pretty bad. And Happy Gilmore 2 is not going to be Happy Gilmore 1. We know this. But we can still be disappointed at parts of it that were purposefully not entertaining and were so easy to fix. Like all of Sandler's kids in this movie. Like the first 20 minutes being a full exposition montage to get us to the future. Like Benny Safdie doing whatever the fuck Benny Safdie is doing in this movie.
Hey, I like Benny Safdie. I'm on a different side of that.
There are parts that are crap in this movie. So if we're sitting at a table next to each other and we're eating porridge, okay, and there's pieces of crap in the porridge, I'm allowed to say, do you see this piece of crap? And you're not allowed to say it's a porridge. Eat it. What did you expect? It's porridge. Go screw yourself. We're allowed to have opinions about movies. That's all I want to say about Happy Gilmore 2.
This is a Box Office Buds PSA.
Did you eat around the porridge?
I
ate around that porridge, baby. Yeah. I enjoyed the surrounding of the porridge.
That's the thing. Like
I enjoyed pieces of shit porridge
for
breakfast.
That was the whole point. I enjoyed part of that porridge. It was entertaining porridge. However, there were also pieces of crap floating in it, and we're alled to say that.
Agreed. You should watch it. Very, very stoned.
I'd probably still watch it just because I like the original Happy Gilmore. I like Adam Sandler, and even the Adam Sandler movies that aren't good, some funny parts usually.
I think that's what I'm going to finish it with this. I think it's vital that this movie exists. Vital.
Really? I think it's the exact opposite.
Vital.
I think this is the biggest cash grab of a movie ever.
Dumb comedy. Whether it's Happy Gilmore 2 or a new IP version of this is the version we were going to get because you're not doing it with original work or someone who isn't already famous right now. It's rarely happening.
Yeah.
We need dumb comedy that makes you not think, that makes you laugh, that is slapstick and ridiculous, that has flashbacks to the past in an insane way where women are throwing beer on themselves and Chubbs' hand is being ripped off, okay? We needed it. And I needed it specifically in that moment. So thanks, Adam Sandler. Was it perfect? No, but I'm glad it exists.
Look, I love dumb comedy, and I hope that more of them get made. But this should have just come out 10 years ago. Maybe even even 15 years ago.
Tell me about it. But we've spent too long on Happy Gilmore 2. Let's wrap this up with a juicy discussion about a spoiler-full Fantastic Four: The First Steps breakdown. We talked about how much we liked it. We talked about it versus Superman, all that stuff, but it's pretty clear we were all emotionally invested in this movie. I am ready. It's tough because he's a really great actor, and he's done a lot of great things and a lot of various things. I don't think I've ever loved Pedro Pascal more than in Fantastic Four: The First Steps because I want to draw similarities between these two father figures that he just played. He's Emmy nominated for Joel in The Last of Us, whether he should be for the 2 episodes he did, regardless. Joel in The Last of Us.
He's excellent.
Joel in The Last of Us as Pedro Pascal is extremely different than Reed Richards' Pedro Pascal, except when you look at what they're doing, it's both extremely similar. They're both father figures that are trying to use what they have to protect their one and only child, and being Ellie and Franklin on the other side against this unbelievable world-ending force, and he doesn't know how to deal with it, so he's going to dig his heels in and use his strengths, whether it be shooting people and being a grizzly military vet, or whether it be the smartest man alive with his stretchy skills. And he's worried the whole time in both of these shows and movies that he doesn't have what it takes to save his child and beat the outside forces. So he's even more worried that he might fail, as he's failed before, with Joel losing his first child and Reed failing the mission and having everyone get superpowers because they hit the cosmic rays. His skills failed them before. His skills can't fail them now. And the difference in how he plays these two characters is what makes Pedro Pascal a phenomenal actor. I was stunned by some of what Pedro did in this movie, specifically when he had that scene with Franklin and he's shutting down the machine that's scanning him and he's saying to him, I have a problem with me. Like, I have things wrong with me and I'm praying you don't, and I want you to be better than me. I don't have a kid. But even as a man who's had a father, who has friends with kids, who knows what family is about, that scene, it was one of the most emotionally gripping Marvel scenes I've ever seen. And I thought Pedro was excellent. I wanted to start off there.
I agree that scene is really impactful just to any human.
Yeah.
Any human we all have parents,
Yeah.
whether they're with you now or not. You can identify with wanting to be like them or not be like them. This movie fired on all cylinders. It checked every box I had as a comic book fan and as a fan of the MCU, and it checked boxes that I didn't even know I wanted to have checked. It truly was so good, and Marvel, to their credit, I knew that we've seen so many other iterations of the Fantastic Four, but the Marvel Studios knows how to make a movie based on their IP and do it the right way.
Yeah.
And it's beyond just the 60s aesthetic and the like comic booky feel. I've read so many Fantastic Four versus Galactus stories.
You have?
And I have. And there's been 60 years of comic books. But I still was like, when he diverted and started going away from the trap they set, I thought, wait a second, how are they going to beat Galactus this time? And, it surprised me, even knowing all the Fantastic Four stories that I know. It still managed to have all those surprises. It still did justice to everything I wanted it to. I wasn't sure what I was going to think about Galactus from the trailer.
I remember you being a little doubtful.
I was a little skeptical
Yeah.
about how they were going to handle it. He's been handled poorly in the past in other movies, and
I thought this was...
they nailed it.
I mean, to me, who is not the Fantastic Four comic book lover, but I know the characters, I was freshly intimidated by this man, by this creature, this universal being. I was like, this could not work. This Galactus could win. I thought it was a great acting. I thought he looked exponentially cool.
Yeah, he looked super
and it
cool.
was believable that this thing existed. It wasn't like a throwaway villain.
I think one of the cooler things is you usually get this overly romanticized backstory of the villains, and we had a glimpse of it with the Silver Surfer, but I thought it was incredibly earned and incredibly helpful for the story and matched the tone and tenor of the piece. And I think Galactus being sort of like coming from... the only thing we got in this movie was, I was like you, now I'm not, and now I need this, and now you're all screwed. Yeah. And I was like, great. I don't need his backstory. Yeah. I need to know that he had something before that makes him want Franklin, or makes him believe that Franklin could take his place.
Well, that story point actually really excited me, because I wasn't sure how they were going to handle Franklin, because in the comic books, Franklin is the most powerful superhuman in the universe. And
which is weird.
There have been different variations. Now he's like a teenager now and like helping the X-Men and Avengers. But I didn't know if he was going to be born, if he was going to be part of the fights, like a Jack in The Incredibles or something.
Yeah, didn't need that.
No, I'm so glad they didn't do that. But Galactus knew what he is.
Immediately.
And that story point as a comic book fan was clutch.
And another note to the director, the way they told that story when he's scanning the ship and then the scanner focuses, it's like,
so smart.
It told the audience exactly what it needed to do. I will say, bouncing off of that, I had 2 or 3 real big things that held me back in this movie that I really liked it.
Let's talk about it.
2 or 3 big notes from this movie. One of them has to do with Franklin the baby. Superman, when it came out, was clearly, we got that message in the beginning, the crawl. This is 3 years since he's been Superman. We're starting in the middle of the story. Boom, let's go. Fantastic Four, we technically start in the middle as well. And I feel like
they've already had, they don't go redo the origin.
they don't do the origin, which they didn't need to. But I feel like if we had our druthers and we were in making this Fantastic Four movie 20 years ago when the Marvel world was still first starting, this, what we just saw, would be the second movie. The first movie is not just how they get their powers, but we never saw them turn into the family that they are. We never saw them become trusting in each other and each other's powers and how they work together to defeat a monster. We're already into she's pregnant and this baby centers this whole entire movie. This whole movie is about how the family dynamic is going to change when the baby's involved, and now the baby is also a super being. I would have liked, again, I'm picky here, I would have liked learning this family dynamic first without Franklin involved, because I felt like we're starting in movie 2. Still loved it, but that's just a note from an outsider here.
I disagree completely. I think that they gave you the 10 minutes of exposition you needed at the top, where you learned.
Talk about that.
Which I loved.
Okay.
Oh, great little montage.
I loved the montage.
I'm getting sick of lazy exposition.
I don't think it's lazy
exposition.
Oh, no, I thought they did
I
it
don't
in
think
a
it's
clever
lazy
way with the
exposition.
TV show. Take a look back.
Yeah, what was the host's name again? His name was Exposition. Like, he had no purpose in that movie other than to deliver you how we were here. I get it. We need to do it. It's how movies begin.
If you
we're getting too cheap with it.
want the 60s aesthetic, you're going to get the 60s aesthetic in full. And where did people get their news from? They got it from actual news, and they got it from the late night shows and the experiences of that. That's what they gave you.
But that was my second
Not to
biggest
mention-
note. Hold on, because he even starts off that speech with, you guys know who these people are, but let me do 10 minutes anyway. Like, come on.
I don't. It didn't bother me.
It
Okay.
didn't bother me
You
either.
don't-
But also, again,
It's like introducing
as
the
soon
Beatles.
as-
They do the same. They did the same thing.
As soon as it started, I was like, okay, we're not doing the origin.
Yeah, yes,
Then I was like,
yes.
okay, we are seeing some origin, and everything it showed in that, oh my god, and fighting like the mole man creature
Yes,
and
it
all
was
that
awesome.
stuff. It was all old comic book stuff.
Yes.
It was all stuff directly from the comic book. Multiple villains that they had fought in the past. Oh, I can't believe you didn't like that.
And seamlessly-
No. It's not that I didn't like it. It's that
it was such
to
a
me,
good way to do it.
it's lazy exposition.
I don't think it's lazy exposition.
And let me since I just brought it up, though, I just want to say the Mole Man, a highlight of the movie, in my opinion.
By the way, good for Paul. He's the Pedro Pascal of
Oh, my
comedy
God.
roles.
He crushed.
He's not only in Fantastic Four, he's coming out in a movie we're going to talk about
He
tomorrow.
absolutely crushed. What I will say in closing on that exposition piece is I guarantee you, with every inch of my body, if there was a 40-minute, 30-minute exposition piece, you would have said, way too much exposition in this piece. We should have gotten right into it. Why are we into Franklin? That's the movie. So you can't have it both ways.
No, that's what I didn't want more. I don't want any of it. I
don't-
want you to tell me the story and drop me into it. Like the Superman thing
think they did.
was pretty perfect with that scrawl, and we're going into it. There was still
when was the
exposition
last time
pieces.
when was the last time we had a Fantastic Four movie?
I understand. You have to do it. I'm just saying. I did not.
And
I
to
thought
do
it
all
was
that,
pretty
and to
basic.
do all that and have a clear, cohesive, and emotionally driven story in an hour and 58 minutes, incredible work.
Yeah, I guess what's confusing me about your critique is the fact that there's really only 2 minutes of origin in that recap.
Yeah.
And the rest is all new stuff that happened between then and
Yes.
now.
And she's also a politician, and he's also the smartest man in
Right.
the world, and he's
Yeah.
also a rock
You
now.
gotta
and
have
he's
that
all,
little and again, I'm sorry I'm coming at this from like comic book nerd, but every comic book has one page in the beginning that's just here's a list, literally like character names,
Yeah.
who they are, like one sentence thing about them, and then like here's what you may need to know for this story. And it just was that.
I get it. I
Visually.
get it. I thought it was,
And it
I
was
just
so
thought it was
visual,
lame.
and it did.
And
Another thing that it did-
dropped you into their versions of these characters in such
Yeah.
a way that was not heavy-handed and very specific. I knew who each of them were instantly, and they became their own immediately, and I was dropped in incredibly quick. Him and Reed Richards and the Thing,
The Thing.
connecting helmet to helmet in that moment was all I needed to know that they are best friends. It was so perfectly clear and excellent, and then the acting across the board the rest of the way just
the whole
took
cast
off from
was
there.
phenomenal, no question.
I need to again give a shout out to Vanessa Kirby because to me she's the anchor of this entire movie.
She was wonderful
and truly incredible.
She was
and
awesome.
She's a known actress, but she is not the Florence Pugh for the Thunderbolts, right? There was probably a swing that they took in casting her, and I hope that Pedro Pascal was like her, or like Matt Shackman was like, it's gotta be her.
She is perfect.
She was so excellent with, that birth scene.
That's the best scene in the movie. That's the best scene in the
was that
movie.
the first zero-G birth scene ever? That was one of the first times I cried.
And it's, there's stupid comic book stuff going on, but it's still entertaining, and it's all centered around her and the look she is giving, and the line she is saying when she says all the direction she gives, especially to her younger brother, like she's coming to steal your nephew, kill her, like everything was so grounded and so great. I loved her performance.
And she basically gave birth twice in this movie. Once then, and then at the end with more power than she ever could possibly possess in getting Galactus into the portal.
It was great.
It was gorgeous.
And that's another thing this Fantastic Four did better than the previous Fantastic Fours. One of my biggest problems with the previous Fantastic Fours is the use of powers or lack of use of powers. They usually use their powers very sparingly, and sometimes it's just story related, like in Fan Four Stick, and sometimes it's budget related or something. But this time they all use their powers in a multitude of ways throughout the film, and even though there wasn't as much action as a typical Marvel movie per se, there was still so much power usage.
Yes.
I think my favorite part of them using their powers is what I like in these superhero movies is using their powers in everyday life. When Johnny uses his hand on fire because the lights went out.
The lights went out.
When Sue...
And what an incredible effect, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when Sue... Probably my favorite moment for Sue is when her and Pedro are having a legit argument about Pedro thinking about giving his son up to save the world.
Oh, she turns her belly invisible?
That too, but she also gets so angry at one point where she turns her whole body invisible. She leaves. Invisible. She vacates. She vacates the room, and I'm like, that's excellent.
Or the Thing flirting with Natasha Lyonne and lifted a car and then getting the thing going. It all worked.
Could have done with less Natasha Lyonne.
Worked.
The first thing that happened that made me go, oh, they're already doing it better was Mr. Fantastic writing on the chalkboard and his arm keeps going.
Well, I will say,
that's so
it's
good.
Those little things were great.
It's the little things that are important.
to make CGI look good with the stretching.
Sure.
I just want to put that out.
Didn't bother me
Didn't
one
bother me
bit.
in the least
I
either.
just want to see him stretch. It's all I want to see. There's so little of it in the past movies.
Yeah.
They do like one big stretch move or something,
Him
and it's
stretching
over.
to get the egg from across the room, like little things.
You should be stretching all the time. I want his ear to come into the room to hear you. He stretches. It's what he does.
I will say there was some CGI I didn't like, especially them like getting out of the car at one point. It looked really crappy, but there was some CGI like the flame on stuff that was phenomenal. And specifically, I said all that to lead to, I thought the Silver Surfer looked excellent.
Silver Surfer looked awesome.
Especially
and the character was done better than the previous version.
But specifically, and this is to the director, the entrance of her character when she falls into the earth very slowly, and they got the meteors coming down, and the way they pan all the way around her before she turns to see your face. He's so good, the director, at telling the story, because behind her. They're in Times Square. Behind her is a billboard of a video board playing the local news, showing you the same shot that you are seeing, and the scroll underneath is alien has entered Earth and whatever. It's like, it was so put you in the world. It's like, oh, this is the news camera that or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the suspension of disbelief and the little things in the background led to so many good moments in the movie. When they're putting Franklin on they're putting the baby bunker coddler thing in the center, and they're like looking up to see where Galactus is. Behind them is the old movie theater, and instead of like what the movie is, it just says in block lettering, "Good luck, Fantastic Four." Like little pieces like that. Made this movie excel beyond belief.
Completely. And I know there's a lot of online chatter out there of would an quote angry mob be able to like step aside for people saving the world, but not giving up their child. And I'm like, Guys,
That's my third biggest note.
it's a superhero movie.
That's my third
It's a
biggest note.
Marvel movie. It's supposed to actually give you a glimpse into like maybe potentially humanity still exists,
Well,
similar
it's
to
all-
what Superman
Sure.
did for us as well. I think that actually was important that everyone was like, "You gotta be kidding me! How dare you not give up your son for the world?" Like people actually understanding like. I wouldn't do that either. I think was an important piece to add. I'm sure it was a choice, but I think it was an
definitely
important piece to add.
I think I agree with the mob stepping down and realizing what thing, all for the betterment of mankind would never happen today, by the way. But
Of course not.
I think that is a classic moral dilemma, a classic parable of, do you kill the baby to save the larger population? That's like a classic.
This felt,
classic
this
moral
felt the
dilemma. I like
most.
that.
This felt the most like what superheroes and comics were intended to be, and it felt the most like Greek mythology to me of any Marvel movie we've seen yet.
Yeah, I agree. I also, just because you guys gave so many kudos to the performances in the film, which they all deserved, I want to give a shout out to the writer, because I think
Hell yeah.
Mr. Fantastic is one of the hardest characters to write. I can't tell you how difficult it is to write a character smarter than yourself and the audience. Mr. Fantastic did so much problem solving in this movie. So many moments where I was like, oh, he figures it out. He figures out at least 3 impossible situations in this movie. And as soon as they introduce the problem, I start thinking, how can we do this? What are they going to teleport the Earth was like one of my first thoughts. But then when it didn't work, I was like, well, now what are they going to do? Truly, kudos to the writers, because fantastic job.
And I also thought
Pun
Pedro,
intended.
because one of the bigger movie podcasts out there, their take on this was Pedro was miscast as Mr. Fantastic because of what they saw in the movie. I couldn't disagree more. I thought he was perfect in the way that he has to be the smartest person in the world, but still have that underwhelming fear of, what if he's not smart enough? And I thought Pedro was excellent.
Being the contrarian with this one to get some clicks, and it is so false.
Wrap it up. Last thought on Fantastic Four. I'll leave you for last because you are the big lover of it. But this was a movie that was your villain. You have Superman in our box office league. You saw Fantastic Four. You saw them both. Your last thought on Fantastic Four.
I think Fantastic Four has a lot of life ahead of it in the box office. I'm super excited for where Marvel takes it next. And I'm really hopeful that this crew becomes really relevant in the Avengers going forward, because the acting was tip-top. And I think Pedro Pascal is a tremendous anchor, as well as Vanessa Kirby. Good job, Marvel.
I loved watching this movie. I am a touch fearful of the future, because adding that Deus Ex Machina kid and Franklin being the strongest thing we've ever seen, and they're adding writers still to an Avengers Doctor Doom movie that is currently filming, and they're still writing parts of the script, and they're still throwing, how is this all going to... They need a landing spot with Doctor Doom, and adding this Franklin character is such a big thing that you can easily go the wrong way with and underwhelm the comic book audience with what Franklin can or cannot be. So I'm worried, but I love the Fantastic Four.
I formerly thought that Superman, before having seen either movie, I thought Superman would have a greater international appeal. After having seen both movies, I think Fantastic Four has a better shot at international appeal.
Tend to agree.
I think that it's got a lot. Like you said, ditto to everything you guys just said.
Superman
I
is
think that it's got a
innately
lot of-
American,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
and America's not great. Whereas Fantastic Four feels New York,
Oh, extremely.
You know?
That's just another thing that is very specific to the comic book,
which I think is a very
the ever-loving
special,
blue-eyed thing from Yancey
which is a
Street.
very
Try-
special, way more universally accepted place.
Yeah, try getting all the New Yorkers to agree on one thing, and then Mr. Fantastic gets the whole world to agree on it.
It was 828. It was a different time.
It's a different world, and the planet dies if you don't do this.
Very true.
We all die.
Very true.
Right.
Just remember,
Good incentive.
turn off your ACs from 2 to 12 p.m. for the betterment for all of us. But that is it for the Box Office Buds Fantastic Four review. We haven't even talked about what's coming up the rest of this week. The Naked Gun, a body horror movie starring a couple that you don't want to talk about anymore. And of course, Bad Guys 2, a return to a movie you've likely never seen, but you probably should. We'll be talking about that over the next 2 days. But that's it for a very long Fantastic Four
Thanks for
review
hanging
episode.
out with us.
Worth it.